Now, Calgary Lawyer Carol Crosson specializes in constitutional law and issues related to both charter rights and human rights. She joins me to discuss some of the issues surrounding these proposed vaccine mandates. Carol, thank you so much for joining me today. So there's been a lot of talk right now regarding vaccines and vaccine passports. Some provincial governments and private entities are proposing mandates stipulating where the unvaccinated will be able to shop, what buildings they can enter, and if they can attend a sporting event, and if they can even work in certain places. So this appears to be something Canada has not seen before. So tell me, how legal is it to require people to show their vaccine or essentially their health records to these businesses?
I'm the kind of person and the kind of lawyer that likes to call it straight. So I'll tell you, Jeanette, there's a lot of uncertainty in the legal world over this. I've talked to employment lawyers. I practice charter, constitutional, and human rights litigation. And from that standpoint, we're all getting our heads around this. I'll tell you why. It's because we've never seen anything like this. And so, of course, the courts, when issues are brought before the court, they have a chance to make rulings on it, and that's how the law develops. On this, the courts have not ever really had to approach this, not like this. So the law is, we're all grappling with it and trying to understand the nature of these mandates. And I'm hearing so many concerned people calling me every day, dozens and dozens, that are very worried about it. And I think at the heart of it, Jeanette, they're worried legally, they're worried from a practical perspective, but they're worried from the very principle of it. What happens in a society, a democratic nation, when medical treatments are compelled? I think that's the question that a lot of people are concerned about.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Carol, that you say that. So is this then like unprecedented?
There's some law that many lawyers feel applies. So, from the standpoint of criminal and personal injury law, I believe that the principle of informed consent plays into this, so that if people are not getting the information, either that information isn't available or they don't feel they have it in order to make informed consent, and they're coerced. They say there is no informed consent where there's a carrot or a stick. So that will be a concern under law. There's liability issues. I've heard employment lawyers saying, well, what about the liability in the case of an employer that doesn't mandate the vaccine and then someone gets sick? And then on the other side, in an employment setting, employees are saying they're often drawing attention to the employer to liability. That if you have me take the vaccine and I suffer an adverse effect, then you'll be liable. So there's liability issues on both sides. At the heart of it, I place my concern on Section 7 of the Charter that says we have a right to life, liberty, and security. And I think that's what people who don't like the mandates are resting on. It's that principle. It's, don't I have a right to control my own body? Don't I have a right to autonomy and choice? I think that's what their concern is.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, certainly. Thanks so much for making the time for us today, Carol. Carol Crosson is a constitutional lawyer and joined us from Calgary. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more after this.